What do ghosts and virtual pop idols have in common? Why the name PepperCast, and what's with the axolotl? Stay tuned while we answer these and more burning questions you never knew you had about the relationship between Tupac, Lady Gaga, Madonna, and a magician from the 1860s. Happy Halloween, everyone, and welcome to one of our first videos digging into the tech behind our novel platform, PepperCast. I'm your host, Skylight, and this is Peppertalks. We all know spooky season is on us, so what better time to talk about our illusion called Pepper's Ghost? Now, most people may be familiar with the media covering the technology behind holograms, and it's a pretty strong misnomer. Real holograms involve high-powered lasers and refractory devices and like glass enclosures. That's how they generate their illusory images. But what we've seen in the media to date is something completely different. Pepper's Ghost is an illusion that utilizes three things: a light source, a semi-reflective or half-silvered substrate, and a subject separated from that substrate by some physical distance. So this effect was popularized and coined by the entertainer John Henry Pepper in 1862, and well before holograms of Tupac and Lady Gaga roamed the earth. Using a candle, a large pane of glass, a subject that was separated from both of these objects, he would utilize the orchestra pit of theaters to project a ghostly image of a person who was there and at the same time not, producing the effect we now know as Pepper's Ghost. This effect has been used with varying success for live entertainment and special effects, with a light source and subject being combined in modern-day projectors, where a lamp and an image sensor serve that exact same purpose. From large-scale systems, such as the Musion eyeliner system, to smaller-scale versions utilizing static cling on windows during Halloween, the illusion has really delighted audiences the world over, and especially so in more recent years due to the emergence of virtual entertainers. In 2009, Hatsune Miku made her first appearance in Saitama, Japan, using a projector and a high-tensile mylar at Anamello Summer Live. In June of 2011, we started experimenting with the Pepper's Ghost illusion. Working with a local theater, Generic Theater in Norfolk, Virginia, we were developing all of their projection and lighting special effects for Enron the Musical. This Pepper's Ghost illusion effect achieved viral notoriety when it was used to reanimate Tupac Shakur at Coachella in 2012. Since then, the effect has been used by notable musicians and pop icons such as Gorillaz, Lady Gaga, Britney Spears, Michael Jackson, Jackie Wilson, Billie Holiday, and so many more entertainers. So what makes the Pepper's Ghost illusion different than just using a regular projector and screen? The two techniques actually have quite a bit in common. However, since the Pepper's Ghost illusion utilizes a translucent screen rather than an opaque screen, that means half the light is reflected for the audience to see, and the other half passes through the material. The second half requires specific projector placement to allow that passed light to be buried somewhere where the audience can't see it. Using a mirror to bounce the beam or ultra-short throw projectors mounted over the audience's head are the two most common ways that this has been achieved to date. Let's talk about substrates, which is basically just a fancy word for surface. We found that many surfaces are passable. No one material has emerged as like a one-size-fits-all solution. The effect is destroyed when the viewer can detect its presence. Kind of ruins the magic. So the following are some requirements that we've discovered need to stay in place in order for the Pepper's Ghost illusion to be preserved. The first is that the lighting in the venue needs to be controllable so that it doesn't shine on whatever surface you're also shining your projector on. When producing content, you should make sure that you have a black background or an alpha layer so that the edges aren't revealed with content or of the projector beam itself. And the last one is the material that you're projecting on needs to be big enough that the content never touches or reaches the edge, because if it gets to it, then you'll see a flat cut-off surface, and again, it breaks the illusion. And then one last tip is you should never really place the projector behind the screen. I mentioned over the audience's head or using a mirror. A lot of people like to try and achieve this effect very quickly or on a low budget by just simply placing the projector on the floor and shining it through the screen. The problem with that is it shines directly in your audience's eyes or directly into your camera, and it also creates a hotspot on the screen, which again doesn't really help preserve this whole illusion of it not being a projector. We've seen this effect produced successfully with mylar, fiberglass meshes, glass, window tints, and even bed sheets. And every environment has its own challenges. That's why a skilled engineer is a vital part of any team to help match the right solution to the space. Now that you know the origins of Pepper's ghost and the background and misnomer of the word hologram used as a marketing term, you can start to understand why we chose PepperCast as our group's name. So Pepper, obviously being a nod to the late John Henry Pepper, in addition to adding the word cast, highlights the difference between us and almost every previous version of the Pepper's Ghost illusion used in entertainment up to today. Every example that we've seen or been able to track down shows this illusion is always pre-recorded or pre-rendered in some way, whereas PepperCast is live. We don't record anything ahead of time. Everything that we do is real-time render, real-time motion capture, and we put a huge emphasis on telepresence in all of the worlds and solutions that we build, so that we're arguably preserving the human element behind the virtual performer. And if you pre-record that content or if you pre-render it, it is purely virtual, and there's no exchange happening between an audience and a performer. So what PepperCast aims to do, simply, is to reintroduce the human element to virtual performance. And we break the fourth wall of the metaverse by connecting social VR tools and spaces to their counterparts in real life. So why a tiny blue axolotl? Well, everyone has seen pink axolotls, and we thought of the idea of an axolotl like right when the internet was starting to become a little viral. And like as soon as we chose an axolotl for our mascot, Minecraft announced that they were putting an axolotl in a box, and like sending that out for everyone. So, we think they're adorable. And on top of that, when we drew all of the emojis for our Discord server, which has a ton of little peppers all over the place, we definitely knew we wanted the backpack to be a tracker to kind of emphasize how small the mascot is, and the idea of like a cute little amphibian running around with a tracker on its back was just really appealing. And it matches one of the projects we're working on, where we want to be able to put trackers on objects that you choose in your play space, so that you could track something like your dog or your cat, or if you wanted to make a little harness for your own pet axolotl that you probably don't have at home. That's the idea behind the mascot. And we chose teal for two reasons. One is because it's a perfect partner color to pink, which most axolotls are, and that really matches with our vaporwave aesthetic. And blue axolotls are a little more rare. Like, they do exist, but they're pretty rare. So that felt like a really special, unique kind of nod to PepperCast as like just a brand of something new and unique that we're really trying to make work. Hopefully that, in combination with the history lesson on Pepper's Ghost, why we added cast to the name, and now why we have a blue/teal axolotl as our mascot, gets you up to speed. And now you are a PepperCast expert. All right, thank you for listening to our first episode of Pepper Talks. Happy Halloween. And today's avatar was brought to you by WaffleChild. This is Flower Boy. We will have a link to their avatar world below. The world that we are recording in is Galaxy Sleep 2018 by PutPut, which we will also link in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and join us for the next Pepper Talks. Bye.